So by now you should be aware of the opportunity that exists to make a full-time income online, or to even make $10,000 a month online. It's too impossible, it's too hard to ignore this opportunity that exists, because it's never been easier in the history of our species to make $10,000 online. It's never been as easy to make this sort of money, or even more than that. It's never been as easy. The opportunity has never been greater. However, the problem is that everybody wants to do it, and everybody has the resources that it takes, because now it doesn't take a lot of capital. All you really need to make a full-time income online is your laptop or your smartphone. That's it. That's something that everybody has. But despite this, right, despite everybody wanting to do it, because why wouldn't they want to do it? You want to do it too, right? You know what it comes with. You know that it could give you a full-time income, right? You can work on something you're actually passionate about, something you actually care about, and you can work your own hours, and you get the freedom to work anywhere in the world. So why wouldn't people want to do it for the same reasons that you want to do it? But despite this, right, despite everybody wanting the same goal, the people have never been as brainwashed before. People have never been as lazy, right, and unmotivated to actually do it. So despite everybody wanting to do this thing, the competition has never been weaker. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the key principles to actually making $10,000 a month online. Now, the first thing you need is a hungry market. You need people who actually are hungry. You need a market, right? You need to be selling something, an info product ideally. So an info product is it's in the name, you're selling information, right, to people. And when you position yourself as the expert for a thing, and people will pay you a premium price to answer the problems, right, to give them the solutions to the problems that they've been facing, and sell the implementation to them, right, help them overcome an outcome and achieve a desirable outcome, right? But the first thing that you need to get there is a hungry market. You need to find what people are already paying for, right? So that proves that this thing works. So you hear about businesses being too saturated, but saturation just means that this thing is already selling, right? It's already working. So you need to pick something that people are already buying, and don't try to be new and different and try, think of something that's never been done before. Now, that is quite common advice that you'd get in the making money space, right? That people tell you to think of something that's never been done before, think of something unique. But I don't believe that you need to reinvent the wheel. I don't think that's actually necessary. Now, you don't need to copy other people, right? But instead, you're going to steal like an artist. And what that means is you're going to see what other people are doing, but add your own unique twist to it. So you can still be unique, but it doesn't mean that you have to, invent something new, right? Or it doesn't mean you're copying outright. You could still be unique, right? But still see what other people are doing and what other people are currently buying. What are people paying for within your niche, right? And that's a hungry market where people are actively buying this thing. But within that market, you need what we call a niche. Now, a niche is just a group of people, right? A certain subgroup where you're going to be quite specific to who you're helping. Now, all businesses really fall into three categories: health, wealth, or relationships. So whatever you're selling, right? If you think of any business in the world, you're selling one of those three things. Those businesses, especially info products, right? Or info businesses where you can coach someone. It's those three things it comes under. So health, wealth, or relationship. So your offer, right, what is it currently falling under? And be as specific as you can. So with making money, right, that obviously comes under like what I'm doing right now, helping people start a coaching business. That comes under the wealth category, doesn't it? But if we go even deeper into that, who am I helping specifically? It might be you're helping 9-to-5ers. So let's go into like the health category, actually, for example, right? So if you're like in the health niche, or you're a fitness coach, you might be helping single mothers or something like that, aged between like 25 and 30, lose like belly fat or something like that, right? Or something very specific, right? You could be helping women with PCOS lose 10 pounds of body fat within the next 6 months, or something along those lines. But it's a subgroup, a subcategory within the overall category of health. Now, you pick your niche, right? And you're going to make content online. And within that niche, again, you need a hungry market within that niche. So think of something that people are already paying for and add to it, right? And charge a higher price to what everyone else is pricing it at. But how do you get away with doing that? How can you look at what other people are charging for their service? That they're basically doing the same thing you are. They're basically doing the same sort of service that you're providing. But how can you then charge $1,000 more than them? Well, what you need is what I call a Godfather offer. Because if you've seen The Godfather, you know that he makes an offer that's so good that people can't say no to it. He makes an offer so good that it can't be refused. He always says that I'll make an offer they can't refuse, right? So how can you give an offer to your niche of people who are already hungry, right? Your group of people are hungry buying things, right? Looking for a solution to the problems that they're facing. How can you make it so good they can't say no? How can you provide them so many things, right, compared to what everyone else is providing? How can you increase the level of access or level of service or personalization that they might get with your coaching program? And that's the reason why you'll be able to command high prices, because the service you're providing isn't like everybody else's. The personalization isn't the same. The accessibility that they get to you isn't the same. And that's why you can command high prices, and you can make everything based on the outcome, not the process. So I always say this, you'll see me say this in my other videos too, right? Where you're selling the transformation, right? Not, you're selling the vacation, right? Not the holiday, not the journey to get there. Right, you're not selling the plane tickets, you're selling the resort, the beach in Miami, or whatever that might be. So we talk about hungry market, your niche, and giving your niche a Godfather offer. Now, you're positioning yourself, right? Because when it comes to picking a business, I always recommend, and this whole channel is about helping you start a coaching business, helping you start an expert education business. And what that means is, well, you're probably an expert in something already. Now, don't put that term expert on a pedestal so soon, right? Because an expert is someone that has expertise in something, and you have expertise in something you must have throughout your whole life, right? So did you ever play a sport that you excelled at? Did you ever achieve a desirable outcome, whether it was acing an exam or you lost a certain amount of weight, you put muscle on? You must have achieved a desirable outcome somewhere in your life. Did you overcome a bad breakup? People are out there struggling with these problems and looking for a way out and looking for someone that can help them overcome that problem. So with this, right, you get to pick your own passion. So whatever passion you have, and I don't want you to fake it. I don't want you to help people lose weight if you've never done it before or you don't even care about it, right? Pick something you're genuinely passionate about, that you look forward to helping people achieve, right? Than jumping on calls with people. If this is your dream life, if you love to jump on calls with people and help them overcome a problem that you've solved yourself, that you overcame in your own life, right, then this is perfect for you, right? If you want to charge $1,000 just to jump on 4 or 5 calls with someone, addressing every single problem that they have and giving them a detailed coaching plan, a detailed plan of how to overcome that, this is exactly the perfect business for you. And you get to pick your own passion whilst doing that. Imagine it and compare that to the 9-to-5 job you're already working, or that you could be working, right? Do you really see yourself doing that forever? Or do you like to live a life where you can work anywhere in the world, just jumping on calls with people and helping them solve a problem? That sounds perfect to me, and it's basically what I'm doing. And it's the best thing. You can work from anywhere in the world and you can just help people do something that you're passionate about, something you actually love. So with this, right, we've found a hungry market. We've talked about a niche of people that we're helping and putting a Godfather offer in front of them. But how do you actually make money out of this? So let's do the maths behind getting 10K a month. And it's easier than you think. Now, if you had a low ticket offer just means it's not priced at a premium, right? I'd say high ticket is, and a lot of gurus online, a lot of like online coaches would disagree with me on this. They would say something like 3K to 5K. For me, myself, in terms of what I've charged before, I would always say high ticket for myself, like that I tell you as well. I've always thought of high ticket as being like $1,000 plus. For others, that might be mid-ticket. For me, that is quite high ticket, right? Or I'd consider it in terms of charging other people. $1,000 as being a high ticket program. And it is something you could charge as a beginner. But if you go on the low ticket model, well, you'll only need 50 people, paying $200 a month. Which you could run group cohorts of 8 to 10 at a time and only have like 5 cohorts a month to make, to fill in those like, $200 worth of 50 students, right? You could put 50 students into 5 groups of 10 and offer group coaching, or even smaller groups if you really wanted to, or you could just offer one-to-one coaching on top of that, right? So you could do this very easily. You could have your group cohorts with serving you 50 people, and then offer an upsell where they can work directly one-to-one with you instead of the group setting. Basically a fast-track way of getting the result of whatever you're coaching them in, and getting more access to you and more one-to-one access with you with that, right? Where you can charge $1,000 for 4 weeks or 5 to 6 weeks or something like that, right? And yeah, that's your first high ticket offer that people won't, that you could offer your low ticket and then your high ticket thing. And that's the maths behind it, right? Just think of the numbers that you need to sell to, right? At the price that you're selling it for. So obviously if it's a 2K program, you're only going to need 5 people a month. But then it's about finding those people, finding qualified leads to your business. and the traffic that you need to get. So this part of the video, we're talking about traffic now. Where do you find that traffic from? So traffic is just basically eyeballs on your page, right? Eyeballs on your business. And the best way to do this, I believe, especially for a beginner, right? And it's easy to do because you could do this at the side of your 9 to 5 now, right? You could find a day of the week or a couple of hours a week just to batch loads of content where, and again, content is the best way to get that traffic first, right? Because you could pick a platform like YouTube or Instagram and just make content answering problems that these guys are asking. And you could spend an hour just straight up just researching online just for an hour the problems that your niche is facing. So whatever the thing is that you want to start coaching in, what problems do people have? What are they commonly looking up? And you can look at like websites such as there's a website called Answer the Public where you can search key terms and look what people are actually looking for. On Google Trends, the exact same thing. You can look in Google Trends where you can search a keyword and see how often people are searching for that key term, right? And you can make content around that and answer the problems with your own unique insights and your own expert opinion. Because remember, you're an expert on a certain thing. And if you're not an expert yet, you can become an expert by educating yourself on something and helping people for free to achieve an outcome and then starting to charge them high ticket prices. So the traffic that you're going to get will come from content. So making videos online, making content, right? Answering the problems that they have and showing proof and showing your credibility that you have the skills, you actually have the expertise to run this expert business that you're trying to run, right? And then you could also introduce within your business, this is like a little pricing tip, right? A price anchor, because we said you're going to get content as your traffic, like your fuel, right? That's where your traffic's going to come from. But you can also price anchor where basically you'll have like a mid-ticket offer, a low-ticket offer, and a high-ticket offer, but they won't be too far apart. It's like, if I think of an example, if I get food, right, I eat burgers a lot, right? Anyone that knows me will know this, right? But it costs like £3.90 or $3.90, right, to get a burger. But it's only $5 for the burger meal, which comes with a drink and the fries. And I'm not even a fan of fries, but I'll always opt for that because it just seems like I'm getting a better bang for my buck, right? It just seems like a better offer, right? The value is, $4 to $5. If you're going to get a drink and the fries extra, and that's a price that, that's what a price anchor is, right? But people naturally go buy your most expensive thing because when it's anchored compared to the lower tier thing, it just seems more reasonable, right? Getting the large over the medium, for example. And you could do a similar thing for your coaching pricing, right? Whether it's a mid-ticket, where it's like group coaching but small groups compared to the one-to-one. If there's not much of a big gap between one-to-one coaching and the group coaching, for example, then more people will be inclined towards that, right? Buying your most expensive thing. And that's just an example. You could run the same thing between your mid-ticket and low-ticket thing, where you've got low groups and smaller groups and larger groups, obviously, for your low-ticket thing. And you can work people up these funnels quite easily, where you can bring in all your traffic to your low-ticket offer, right? And you could give people value for free and jump on like group calls. And once they feel like they're getting a lot of value and they want more access to you and they want more insights, then they can join up and, kind of climb the ladder to your most expensive offers slowly, right? And you could kind of give more personalization, give more like one-to-one access with you along the way. But you can introduce a price anchor here where it seems like they are getting a better value, right? They are getting better value for what they're paying for. But the last thing I want to talk about in this video is the work ethic that it actually takes. How much do you have to work? Now look at guys like Messi or Ronaldo, or, Kobe Bryant, David Goggins. These kind of names come to mind, Brian. These kind of names are written on my desk because I always remind myself how hard the elite actually have to work to get to their goals. Now you can't expect a 10k a month income or 50 grand a month income or whatever target you're looking for, right? To make money online. You can't expect to make that income online without a relentless work ethic, right? Spending hours a day. And if you can't find those hours, right, find it somewhere throughout the week and batch the content all at once. Again, I don't want to lie to you, right? Especially if you're already working full time and you're looking for a way out. I don't want to lie to you and tell you this won't take a lot of time. This is going to be easy, right? But I also don't want to say that you can't just batch content in a week and do the work all at once and spread it out evenly. You could, schedule your posts throughout the week, right? But the work ethic that it takes to get from 0 to 10k a month is massive, right? It's going to take a strong work ethic. And if you're lazy, if you're not dedicated to do this, then you can fall in line with the other, 99% that aren't willing to do it. That I said at the start of this video, right? That want to start an online coaching business, but just don't have the work ethic, right? They're too brain rotted. They can't sit in front of a camera and record themselves and teach a skill, or they can't stick to actually, building a business, but they can doom scroll all day for hours every day. Look at your screen time. Right, look how much time you're spending on Instagram and Facebook or whatever app you use the most, right? What if you could just dedicate maybe a third of those hours into building your business? How much could you achieve, right? How much income would you be able to generate on the side of your working income now, of your 9-to-5 income, right? And wouldn't you be able to kind of match that, right? With just a few hours a week, you'd be able to match your income online. But these are the tips to get to, making 10K a month as an online coach. And if you want like a personalized roadmap to get there, or if you just want to connect and share with me what you thought about this video, any ideas that you might have, any plans that you have, right? Or whether you think it could work for yourself, then I want you to reach out to me on Instagram. I'd love to talk to you, right? Just, whoever's watching this video now, and my Instagram will be in this video somewhere, and it'll be in the link in my bio too. But RaheemAkram.12, right? That's my Instagram. But yeah, I'd love to connect with you and just see what your thoughts are. And if you're looking, if you feel like you have a good idea for a coaching business, then I'd love to kind of help you set that up and put it together. But yeah, I'll see you on Instagram.